Um, you know that show Milo Murphy's Law?
Yes, everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
That's exactly what happens when you try to do anything. That's exactly what happened to our whole thing.
Look at that sun, look at that sky, look at my sweater vest, it looks so fly.
Yeah, everything that could go wrong went worse.
Even things that I didn't know were possible. But yeah, I mean, we built it in the end, some part of it.
So let's set the scene. It was a bright and sunny day.
Well, it wasn't sunny, it was January.
Are we going that far back?
Yeah, no, we have to give the law of why we even did this and
Okay,
where
it
all
was,
of this even
it
came
was
from.
a cold and blissfully freezing rainy day in January.
Yeah, yeah. And we decided in our best wisdom that uni wasn't challenging enough, air quotes by the way, and decided to try to enter an installation into the London Festival of Architecture in June.
Yeah, so we did that. We designed an installation, we submitted our
We
application,
accepted.
we got accepted, but we had no site.
We had no site. Yeah, logistically, we weren't dreaming big enough, but the vision was there in terms of design, and we just kind of assumed everything would fall into place. It got to May, and we still did not have a site. Mind you, LFA is
June.
so we start frantically sending out messages to everyone and anyone, reaching out to councils, private businesses, and just whoever thought could help. I actually also had to reach out to councillors in different wards, just telling them to point us in the right direction to who could help. Then we got a site. So at that point, that was the biggest issue, getting a site. And then bigger issues came after actually getting the site.
Yeah, so our site ended up being pretty convenient actually. It was in Navigator Square, which was about a 5-minute walk from where we were storing the structure for the installation. But what we hadn't considered was the logistics of moving a 3-meter tall structure, even just a 5-minute walk.
And I think we also did this backwards in a way because we had a design before a site. So adapting the design to the site happened after, and that posed its challenges. So maybe if you're thinking of doing this, don't do that. It was a very windy site.
Journeys, don't take risks on treacherous roads.
Yeah, like we had like a vague idea in our head, like it's just 5 minutes, we'll just walk.
Yeah,
But
like 3 meter long. But I'm going to put a picture up of what each piece looked like right now.
yeah, the reality of how we thought our plan would work was completely different.
Yeah, yeah. And mind you, this was no longer a cold day. This was like heat wave,
Yeah, 32-degree
32 degree
day
day.
in July.
Yeah.
Please, God. No, again, please, I'm begging.
Dry mouth, sweating profusely, walking through the streets of Archway with massive pieces of timber. So the initial plan was to just leave it in the building and then get it on the day we need to store it, or the day we need to put it up.
Leave it in the university building where we were storing it.
Yeah, yeah. But the building wasn't open during the weekend, so we had to move it to the lockup area for the market that would be happening on that Saturday.
Yeah, for the Archway Market, which is
Yeah.
what we were showing the installation as a part of.
And then we also had to buy sandbags because we designed this to be indoors initially, but we never got an indoor space, so now we're adapting on the go. So we had to buy like 300 kilograms of sand to make sandbags, and we couldn't store the sandbags in the same area, so that was another challenge.
They were stored somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere that we could access at
So
7
we could
a.m.
access at 7 a.m. What that meant was carrying the sandbags about a 10-minute walk to the site. So imagine 25 kilograms per bag, a 10-minute walk times 15. Well, we didn't do it for all 15. We did it for 6 of them, and then luckily, when the market was setting up, we could borrow a trolley from someone to get the rest of them. But 6 25-kilogram bags on a 10-minute walk at 7 a.m.
It's like the most intense workout I've ever done. I felt like I was in have you ever been to like a park and seen people doing those like boot camp
Like high rocks.
workouts? No, not like high rocks.
Oh.
I guess like kind of like high
It
rocks,
felt like high
but
rocks.
because we were outside, I was thinking more specifically like I always see people on Clapham Common, and
Oh, like exercising and
yeah,
stuff.
it's like a boot camp thing, and
Yeah.
the like instructors in like camo, and he's making them like crawl on the floor and like lift
Mm.
bags above their heads. I felt like I was in some sort of like military boot camp,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
trying to like carry this 25 kilogram
Yeah.
sandbag.
We're just running off pure adrenaline because the market started at 10 and we'd never put this up before because we've never had space to actually assemble it. So we didn't know how long it would take to assemble the whole structure. And we knew we needed to get the sandbag when each one is a 10-minute trip and there were 15 of them. So do the math. But then we got the trolley, which helped cut down the time.
Honestly, I would say that we really were just winging it, which is probably the best. Like, because if we had thought about all of these issues before we had submitted that first
None
application,
of
maybe
us.
we never
Yeah.
would have done it.
Oh yeah, I would have never done that. Studying architecture is interesting because you could go your whole like 5 years of school just designing on your like laptop or whatever device you use, and I feel like if you have the opportunity to bring any of it to life, do it, and you realize immediately that a lot of there's a lot that is considered, but the reality of it is very different. For example, the market was just the worst wind tunnel ever. I don't think I've ever been in a place so windy, and the the installation was pretty much fabric, which we had to adapt. We had to get rid of the fabric because it wasn't staying up
Damn, I messed up. We gotta go bald, man.
because of the wind.
Yeah, the fabric was just honestly causing like a sail effect where the wind was completely blowing the fabric into sails and just dragging everything else onto the ground.
Yeah,
So that had to
and
go. We had
health
to
and
make,
safety wise,
yeah, we made a very quick health and safety decision
yeah,
that that was not being included anymore.
we just adapted it on the go. We had to position them in a way that worked, put the sandbags at each end. But it was good in the sense of testing this thing for the very first time, standing up. And then I guess we found ways of making future plans for how to make it better.
Yeah, like how you said that it's good to have opportunities and moments where you can take what you're designing kind of off paper and off the screen and
Yeah,
into real life.
yeah,
When we'd actually like put the structure up finally
yeah.
at 10 a.m. and we felt like we could breathe, we just had a chance to just sit there and like really
Really,
observe it,
yeah,
like observe how the wind was interacting with different bits, where the wind was maybe blowing it a bit too much. Okay,
yeah,
what could we do to amend this so it's a bit more structurally sound?
yeah.
Just things like that.
That was probably the highlight for me because I was there the whole day just watching how people interacted with it. And it wasn't the most stable thing, but it stood up thanks to the sandbags. And from time to time, you see kids jumping on the sandbags, and I'm just crossing my fingers, please don't let this fall on you. And just keeping an eye out to how people interact with it. It was also interesting seeing who decided to walk through it and who thought maybe not. See, unfortunately, we had nothing going on inside, which is I think would also be something to think of in the future.
Yeah, there wasn't a public program that we
Yeah,
had planned for it, I guess because we just didn't have enough time,
yeah,
considering we were still working on all of our like part two university work at this
yeah,
point,
yeah,
and we were dealing with all of the issues that came with this installation.
yeah.
But slight disclaimer, the installation was not going to fall on any children.
Oh no, it
No.
wasn't. It wasn't
It
going to
was weighted
fall.
down by
It
over
was weighted
300
down, but
kilograms.
yeah,
It swayed slightly in the wind, which could be perceived as slightly concerning to the public,
yeah.
but it was never going to fall on anyone.
No, no, yeah, it wasn't going to fall. It was well. For it to fall, it would have to be very intentional, and we were there watching.
Honestly, we watched that thing like a
Yeah,
hawk
like a hog.
all day.
I felt like I couldn't even do anything. I was just so zoned in watching all four parts of it
Yeah, from 9 to
from
5.
9 to 5. Yeah, and I woke up the next day, my body felt like lead. Because when you realize that we've just been working nonstop, carrying the bags, moving the pieces in the heat and everything.
Someone came up to us and they said, like, oh, I saw you moving this structure
Yeah,
like the day before. Like, oh, this is what it was for.
yeah,
Like, I would say the biggest thing I learned from just sort of building an installation and staging it in public space is that you actually just gain engagement
yeah,
from the
yeah.
community. Like people you would never talk to, they now have a reason to come up to you,
Yeah, that's true.
inquire, and you start
Yeah.
these conversations.
If we had a public program going on there, that would have even driven it more. Because at a point, I started thinking that people thought it wasn't finished and we're still building it because of how it looked. There wasn't anything to keep people in the space, but again, it was like a first try. We were just seeing how it was. But yeah, and it was really good for also determining what we could do with it when people speak to us about just what it is and like
Yeah, like even at that, having an uncompleted structure,
Mm.
it I think prompted like a certain type of discussion with the public.
Yeah.
Like some people had like ideas about what we could
Yeah,
do with it
yeah,
in the future.
yeah.
And it's interesting to see their ideas because this is their
This
neighborhood.
is the
So
neighbor.
it's like they
Yeah,
could actively engage with like what the structure becomes in the future.
yeah, that's true. I wish everyone had an opportunity to build something they design because it's good to like design it, but when you start building it, a lot of your intentions just do not even seem like logical anymore. Because well, there's no gravity in Revit, there's no wind, there's no unless there is. I don't know. I've been using the older versions, but to my knowledge, there isn't. And I feel like when you start, and even down to how do things connect? How do you connect pieces of wood to each other? That actually provides the best fixing and strength between the pieces. How do you connect fabric to wood? Stuff like that. You don't really have to think deep about it when you're just designing online or on a software. When you bring it to the real world, constrained by time, budget, sanity, and everything else.
Budget, that was a big one.
Budget was oof. I don't even want to think about it.
So we applied to our university's professional development fund that the
Yeah,
student union offers, and we were awarded £250. So that was
yeah.
our initial budget.
That
But I
that
would
covered a
say,
bit of the structure.
yeah, no, the £250 covered all of the wood that we used
Yeah,
to build the structure, and also maybe like
some of the sand. It covered the sand. Yeah,
yeah, like half of our sandbag costs. But then I would say we completely like overshot this budget.
yeah, yeah. Like first time building anything, mistakes were made, and to rectify the mistakes cost something. And we were really keen to make this work because it's like good effort. Now we know things that we would have never thought of, and if we're to keep going with this installation or even a different one, we're not starting from zero. We have some knowledge on how to bring things to life. Yeah,
Not even mistakes. Like I wouldn't actually say in the building of it we made many mistakes that cost us money.
yeah,
We made mistakes that cost us time,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah,
And I guess really time is money because we had to spend a lot more time coming into the workshop to
yeah,
redo things or like to fix things.
yeah.
And we're not based anywhere near our university building.
So
So
yeah,
we were spending a lot of money traveling in to
it's a
work
trip.
on this,
Yeah,
a lot of hours to work on this.
yeah,
But I would say like things that we missed off in the budget were like things like fixing. Like you mentioned, like we didn't plan for okay, how would the hooks attach to the wood and attach to the
yeah, yeah,
fabric? I don't know, like how would the sandbags be attached to the
yeah.
bases of our installation pieces?
Yeah. I feel like the way we went about the design was what's the final goal of what it looks like, and then the very tiny details of connections and stuff. We just when we got to that step, we're like, okay, let's talk about it, and then boom, make a decision. We didn't have everything planned out because again, like you said, I feel like if we had everything step by step planned out, I don't know if we would have even bothered to do it because it would have looked like a long list.
Or even at that, like because this is the first time we've ever tried to do something of this scale,
Mm,
if we tried to plan it to like extreme detail, there would have just been a lot of unanswered questions because we just don't know.
yeah,
And then I think that would just have,
put it off.
yeah, like given us doubt and potentially made us not want to continue.
Yeah,
But because we started with the knowledge that we had and we started where we could with the wood in the workshop and the
yeah.
technicians in the workshop who were great.
Shout out all the technicians. Adrian, Gabriel, thank you so much for your help.
Yes. But yeah, what I'm saying is when we reached a problem,
Yeah.
instead of being filled with like doubt and anxiety because we'd already started, because we'd
Yeah.
already spent the money to
Yeah.
purchase the wood, it was more of like, okay, how do we solve this problem so we can like make this happen?
Yeah. We kind of had no choice but to keep going because what we're going to do with the pieces, we already bought the wood. We've built the structure itself. Assembling it was where a lot of thinking came into. Like, we can't go back on it at this point. So we had to get it done. And I think, regardless of the outcome, this was a learning experience for me. So I feel like that alone was beneficial. I was happy it stood. But I also.
Yeah, same. I was just happy. I was honestly just happy that like we built this ourselves with
Yeah.
our bare hands
Yeah.
and our like I
Oh,
guess knowledge of
even got a splinter.
yeah, I got 2 splinters, like had to pull them out with tweezers, but
Yeah.
like with our knowledge of I guess construction, we managed to make something that stood up
Yeah. Yeah.
and set up in very like tumultuous
Yeah,
conditions
it's almost
too.
like if it worked in that side, it could work anywhere else in the world. It's almost like swimming. We jumped in the deep end and decided to learn how to swim. That was the worst side in terms of elements. It was the best site in terms of interaction and people, but I feel like it was a really good test for the elements and how this would work on a site that isn't to your favor at all. And I think that worked out really well.
Yeah, now that it's all done, like I'm happy that we did it. But when we were nearing the end of this process, all I could think is, I am never doing this again.
Yeah, it's been a lot. I think, like you mentioned, juggling this with uni, and then we had the showcase going on at the same time, and just other life things. It felt like such a big,
You're like, why
like,
did we do
why
this
did
to
we choose to do
ourselves?
this? Because no one forced us. We could have just not done this. I think early on we even talked about how, because this was meant to be for the LFA, how we could have just done a talk or just something.
Yeah, we
We
could
could have
have
done
gone
anything.
with something I think that we had a bit more like experience
Experience
with,
with,
or
yeah,
like
but
a bit more like it would be easier to gather the resources for
yeah,
us. But
yeah.
instead, we just went with something that we have absolutely no
We
experience in
chose
doing.
we chose to think so far out the box, and we almost got crushed by the surrounding boxes.
But now we have an 8-meter diameter, 3-meter tall structure
Yeah.
that we're just thinking of what we can do with in the future.
Yeah, and I think the plan is to just keep going with it. We've made a list of how to iterate it and make it a bit more stable, and we're shopping around for opportunities with it. Who knows? You could see it somewhere, and if you see it, just think of us.
That was how we built our first installation, and we almost failed in the process, but we learned, and that's what counts in the end.
That's what counts. Yeah, what's that thing they say? Trying is wait, I don't know. Think of an inspirational quote as we end this
I have
video.
one.
Oh, okay, sorry.
If at first you don't succeed, try and try again.
Isn't that a song?
No, it used
First
to be
you
on
don't
the.
succeed.
No, I don't know what that is.
Pick yourself up and try again.
No,
Pick yourself up and try again.
no,
Try again.
no.
Yeah.
It used to be on the door of my primary school classroom,
Oh,
unless my teacher got it from that song.
maybe.
I have another one that was on the door of the classroom.
Yeah.
It said, shoot for the moon, and if you don't succeed, you'll land amongst the stars. Or something like that.
Or something like that. What do you mean? It has to be precise.
Yeah, it still carries the same sentiment, dream big, think big, and even if you fail slightly, what you managed to achieve would have been greater than what you ever could have if you didn't dream so big.
I have one. Actually, no, I don't have any.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, shoot for the moon and land amongst the stars if you run out of fuel.
I don't
That
think
wasn't what you
that's
said.
what.
That wasn't what you said, but iterate it, make it work for you. So
Yeah.
yeah, see ya.